The human brain is an organ that transmits and receives chemical and electrical messages throughout the body. This sponge-like mass of fat and protein, which weighs around 3 pounds on average, is made up of two types of cells termed glia and neurons, each of which comprises many billions. There are four primary parts of the brain: the cerebrum, cerebellum, the encephalon, and the brainstem, each of which is in charge of a different task. The cerebrum is the brain's biggest portion, accounting for approximately 2/3 of its overall weight. It has two hemispheres, the left and right, and are further divided into sections which are the frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal lobes. The frontal lobe is responsible for our personality characteristics, decision making, and voluntary movement. The parietal lobe is responsible for somatosensory information processing in the body. Other functions may include touch, pain, and temperature. The occipital lobe is the back portion of the brain, which is the human brain's visual cortex. The temporal lobe is in charge of short and long-term memory, speech, auditory sounds, and some degree of smell identification. The temporal lobe contains Wernicke's region, which assists the brain in understanding spoken language. The cerebellum, sometimes known as the tiny brain, is a fist-sized part of the brain that resides beneath the occipital lobe at the rear end of the head. It is divided into three sections, which are: the cerebrocerebellum is engaged in movement planning and sensory information evaluation for action. The spinocerebellum is in charge of controlling body and limb motions. Balance and eye movements are controlled by the vestibulocerebellum. The encephalon, which is located in the brain center, is the third major component. The thalamus and hypothalamus are the two major regions. Incoming nerve impulses from across the body are relayed to the thalamus, which are then forwards them to the appropriate brain region for processing, as in the graphics displayed. The hypothalamus regulates hormone production from the nearby pituitary gland. These hormones control growth and instinctive responses, such as the lactation in a new mother. It is also responsible for regulating body functions such as temperature, appetite, and thirst. The brainstem is a highway-like structure that connects the spinal cord to the brain. It is divided into three sections. The top region of the brainstem, called the midbrain, is responsible for controlling eye movements. The pons is the middle region of the brainstem, and it coordinates face movements, hearing, and balance. The medulla oblongata at the bottom regulates breathing, heart rhythms, blood pressure, and swallowing. So, while the brain is the most complicated organ in the human body, we've only scratched the surface of the anatomy and physiology of this enigma.